You ready?
I guess. This is a good one.
Ready as we're going to be?
I'm excited.
We did it.
We did.
We are debt-free.
Yay.
2 years in the making. We've been waiting for this. And I feel like it's a little anticlimactic.
A little.
I mean, we paid it off on Wednesday, and we kind of waited for the zeros to hit the bank, and they finally did. So it's official now. Like, SoFi let us know we are paid off. So
Can't wait for that box to come in the mail.
SoFi sends you a box when you pay off your debts, but we're going to go through. There's been a ton of questions that we got on Instagram that we want to answer. We'll give you a little start to finish of our entire debt-free journey because I know there's a lot of new subscribers and things like that. There's people. Hey. So if you are new to the channel, my name is Brad. This is my wonderful partner in crime, my wife, Tara.
Hey, guys.
And yeah, we just paid off $189,000 worth of debt.
That number is unreal when he says it out loud. I can't even believe it.
And we did it in a little over 2 years. And yes, the number is really, really big. And we, you know, there's been some things that kind of help that large number along that we definitely want to address in this video. But yeah, we
did it.
We did it. So I guess the first question, and the question that I get a lot is, what was our aha moment? What was our oh crap kind of moment that made us, like, they hear from my perspective, like, how did it really start?
So I feel like for a little while I had been trying to tell Brad, like, the number in the bank is going down. Like, yes, we make a lot of money, but, like, we're not, like, positive at the end of every month. He's like, no, we're fine. Like, we make so much money. Like, there's no way. Like, we're fine. I'm like, we're not fine. It's simple addition and subtraction, Brad. Like, at the end of every month, like, we have less money than we did at the beginning of the month. Like, this is a problem. And then eventually...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's the natural saver and I was the natural spender, and she's exactly right. Like, I was like,
I would get so mad when we would go to Target and he would try and buy a water bottle out of the stupid fridge by the cashier. I'm like, can you wait 5 seconds? Like, we're on the way out. We live a half a mile. Like, wait till we get home to have a drink of water. Like, you don't need to buy a water bottle out of the Target thing.
And we finished up summer break at the end of 2017. And I don't know if we were going to buy something or something happened where I actually looked at the bank. Well, I remember we were sitting in the living room and I was like, Tara, we have like no money in the bank. And she was like,
I know.
Yeah. Like,
Been trying to tell you that.
And it wasn't like we had no money in the bank and we didn't have an income thing. I think our major problem is we almost made too much money where, like Tara was saying, I was like, there's no way we could be struggling with money. I thought
There's no way that we're overspending, was his philosophy.
I had a small business. We both had really good jobs, you know, side hustles, tutoring. I was like, there's no way. And then I finally looked back at like 6 months previous and we blew like 20, 30K because we had money in there from my grandmother's inheritance and then our wedding.
It's gone.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm all or nothing. So once she flicked the switch, for me, once I finally figured it out, I got in the internet and I was like, we got to fix money. And we found Dave Ramsey, and it was like literally 2 days later, I was like, okay, Tara, so I've watched.
So then all of a sudden I wasn't allowed to go to Starbucks anymore. I wasn't allowed to go out with my friends for lunch. We couldn't go out for breakfast like I like to do. And there was no more going to Tallulah's to spend $150 on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I know.
Why did we do that?
I came at her and I was like, so I found this guy, Dave Ramsey. I listened to every hour of every podcast he's ever made. And like, yeah, we're done spending. We're done. And that's kind of like what kicked it off. And luckily for us, we did have some money in the bank. We weren't broke, but we
caught it at like just the right time.
We really did. And this was before we thought about kids.
Yeah, which was also good timing.
Yeah, so it was, I mean, I think we had just found out you were pregnant because this was 17 and she was born
just
January.
Before I found out we were pregnant in May.
Right, so this was September of 17. So,
yeah.
But I don't think, we didn't make the decision to get rid of debts because of the baby. No, we were kind of like,
now's the time.
I mean, obviously we thought about like the family aspect, but we weren't like, we got a baby on the way, we need to get our finances.
It wasn't a panic mode kind of thing at all.
Yeah, so I think we just, right from jump, we made a Debt Snowball, like right in September. I made the YouTube channel because I knew that I was going to have to hold myself accountable. She was like, what are you doing?
I was not on board with that at first.
And, you know, we started chipping away right away. Now, luckily, because of that money in the bank, we were able to pay off credit cards right away, and we were able to start taking a major chunk. I think like that first month that we started Debt Snowball, we probably cleared $3,000 to $4,000 on top of our minimums, which was $3,550. So that first month we had like a $7,000 debt reduction, which was really, really was a big deal.
Yeah.
And we just worked our butts off. We didn't go beans and rice necessarily, but we definitely became more conscious. We started budgeting and having budget meetings right away. We started having those tough conversations that couples need to have.
Which were hard in the beginning, but worth it.
Yeah, we had some tough ones. And
There were a couple times in the beginning where we would sit down and start having a conversation, and like one of us would get heated and just be like, okay, we are not in the frame of mind to do this right now. Like, we need to walk away. And now we've gotten better where like we know that either we can have the conversation or it has to wait a day or two, because sometimes you're just like not in the mood to talk about it.
Yeah, and we're very good now at being like, today's not the day.
I had a bad day.
It's kind of like, I think one of us will say, hey, it's getting towards the end of the month. We got let's try and sit down and find out a time that we are emotionally ready. And
Yeah.
we just started paying off debts. When we got tax returns, we put it towards debts. When we tutored and had extra money, we put it toward debt. We really lived a zero-based budget. At the end of every month, we settled out our budget, and any extra money, we paid off debt. And that's really the thing that I think was really successful, was that consistency and us being able to communicate, and then knowing that there were going to be some tough months. There were some months that we just paid the minimums, even though we had some extra, and we were just like, we just need a break. We need to get focused, which kind of like leads me into the next question that somebody asked, and one that, I'm sure that you've heard. How did we stay motivated?
Just the idea of freeing up all of that money at the end of 3 or 4 years, because when we first started, that's how long it was going to be. It was going to be 3 or 4 years, right?
Yep, 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
So just the idea of all of that money freeing up and the possibilities of what we could do with it was really what helped to keep me motivated. Like the thought that I can do whatever I want for Avery. Like I can sign her up for any activity she wants, and then eventually now Brody, any activity he wants, he can do. Like the possibilities of what we could do with that money once it freed up is really, for me, what kept me motivated.
Yeah, same. I think we did a really good job of like keeping an eye on the finish line, keeping an eye on the prize, as my mom used to say. A lot of like, yeah, we're in the struggle now, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
And I think too, we didn't need to individually stay 100% motivated. Essentially, because we were doing this together, we only needed to be 50% motivated at a time, because when I was like, F this, I'm quitting YouTube, we're going back, Tara was like, whoa, step off the ledge.
Yeah. And then when I would jump in and be like, I just want a new pair of shoes, he'd be like, the shoes you have are fine.
So we definitely, our checks and balances system, and like I said, it goes back to...
That was huge, because you're both going to have like moments of weaknesses, and when one person's weak, you need the other person to be strong. Like that was really the huge point for us.
And we find it now, if we both have weak moments, we'll find ourselves in a rut where I become a yes man. Like if I know that she's struggling with something and she'll ask me, hey, can I buy this or can I get that? And I'm kind of like thinking about her emotions, and I say like, sure, go for it. And then every once in a while I'll be like, hey, we have to get back to being able to say no to each other again.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
We start to slip and slope. So if you find yourself being a yes man with your spouse, like...
Not gonna work.
But that's like, you can't just come out and when she says, hey, can I get Starbucks today? Be like, you've gotten Starbucks all these times. That's for like your budget meeting. Like, hey, this month we kind of slipped. We became yes men with one another. Let's focus back and let's get back on track of where we've been going.
Yeah.
Question I got, what is one thing that we did that we never thought we'd do to save money, or something now that we're debt free that we'll probably never do again to save money?
For me, it's him taking on a lot of DIY things. So Brad is super handy. Like he's really good at building things. He's very good at going on his favorite YouTube and figuring it out. For me, like the time that he spends researching that stuff and the time that he then spends trying to fix or do whatever it is that he's trying to do is not worth the money that we could just spend to have someone else do it for us. So for me, maybe less DIY things just for the sake of time, not because he can't do it. He can do it. but I'd rather have him around. And like some things definitely he should do on his own, but there's other things where I'm like, all right, enough's enough. Like, can we just call someone, please?
Yeah, and I think I blew your mind. We're changing out the faucets in our bathroom, and I'm like, oh, guess what? I called the plumber to do it.
I was like jumping for joy on the phone. I'm like, wait, what? You called someone?
For me, I think it was like, wearing shoes a little bit too long or wearing underwear a little bit too long. Not like dirty. But like, holes in the bottom of my shoes. Like I just bought a new pair of Converse that I probably needed to buy a new pair a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I finally did. So I think it's more freeing up things that we can spend money on now that are going to improve our life, where we were kind of struggling with quality of life versus spending a little bit.
Yeah. I have shoes that are falling apart too. It might be time.
Had to grab the baby.
Baby life.
Baby life. Back to the video. So another question we get asked all the time is, how do we deal with friends, family, people at work, haters on the internet? How do we deal with that when it comes to like our debt-free journey? Like you want to talk about like the friends and family because you deal with that more, I think.
So with friends and family, we've kind of learned that if people want to talk about it, they'll ask you, and then we have no problem having that discussion with them. And if it's something that they don't want to bring up or they just don't want to talk about, then it's not even worth it because it just leads for awkwardness. We've also found that leading by example is really the best way for us to go.
Yeah, I mean, people definitely respond better when they're not being told what to do. And people come and tell us we're crazy, and we kind of just try and smile and nod.
Thanks.
Like thanks for your feedback. And, thanks for your feedback goes as well with, like, the internet. We get some hate. And people, there's sometimes where, people hurt me, and I read a lot of the comments. And even though Tara's not always in the camera like this, we always talk about things. And there's definitely people out there, but there's one thing that I've realized, like you can't win an argument on the internet, first and foremost.
No.
And next is like, we are so content. We are so happy. We have such a great...
That baby is so cute.
we have like such a good thing going that even when somebody like strikes a chord or triggers me a little bit, we immediately bring ourselves back to us, to the Finns, to the family. And we know that anybody that says anything bad to us on the internet, they're not sitting down to dinner with us. They're not the things that are making us happy in life. And
just gotta let it go.
You kind of gotta brush it off. And I always just, if you look, or if you've ever seen any hate, my response is always thank you for the feedback. Because I'm not going to come back. People want that, and it's not worth my time. Thank you for the feedback. Another thing we want to discuss is like what we really cut back on. And for those of you that have been around a while, you know that we were always good. Like utilities is kind of like what it is. We cut the cord, so we definitely cut cable in February. Do you miss cable?
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah,
we're not big TV watchers to begin with, so it really was a non-issue. Like we'd prefer to pick a show on Netflix and watch one episode a night for a week or whatever the case may be. Like we're not avid TV watchers.
So we have we have the internet plan, and then we just get subscriptions to things that we want to watch, and even a couple of $10 or $12 subscriptions is less than we were paying. So that's one thing. And then the thing that we struggled for months, that was all over this YouTube channel, was our struggle with food. And
that was a tough one.
Tara did most of the food shopping, so this was a constant argument because here I was trying to lower our food costs as much as humanly possible, and I was arguing with Tara
that I was spending too much money at the grocery store, and I would try to tell him at least I'm spending money at the grocery store, and we're not spending a week's worth of grocery money in one night out, which is what we used to do. So getting that across was tough. Yeah, I started feeling like Tara was right, that we were starting to live a life of deprivation with budgeting. Right.
And you have to remember, budgeting is not a life of deprivation. So all we needed to do, and this really fixed it, when we wanted to spend more money on food, we just talked about it.
Yeah.
We just agreed on small jumps, $50 more a week here, until we found something that was great for us. And now, if anything, in 2 years, our grocery budget has gone up.
Yeah.
Because
granted, Avery is actually eating now. So I buy way more fruit than I used to. We buy soy milk every week, which we never used to do.
Yeah.
So right away, that amounts to a measly $50 a month, which really isn't the end of the world, but it's still $50 more than we were spending before. And it was something we had to allot for.
And we find value in food. We
Yes,
love to cook.
Quality foods. I do not like to compromise. I'm the type of person that's going to buy organic strawberries even if they're not on sale. Just because that's what's important to me. Like, health is important to us, and the quality of food that we buy is also important to us. So that is something that we choose to spend our money on.
The next question that I got was if we cashed out any mutual funds or any investments to help push that debt total along. And I'll give you kind of an idea of some major things that we did. Besides like tax returns, which we had a good one. We had my father's inheritance, which was a $61,000 student loan payment. And that was back to one of those hates. There was a lot of people that like said my debt-free journey was easier or that we got lucky. And like, I'm not going to go too far into it, but the people that know that wasn't luck. And, we could have blown that money on other things. So that was a big one. We sold a house in the process too, which got us some capital gains, which definitely helped. We both got raises at work. So there was some major things, but right at the end, we cashed out our brokerage account. We had $15,000 in there, and it was something that we went back and forth. It was a conversation that we needed to have because our brokerage account was definitely bringing us more money than we were paying in interest.
Yes.
And it was something we went back and forth. It was $15,000, but I think at the end of the day, it was the peace of mind of not having the debt. It wasn't about the capital gains return. It wasn't about the dividends. It was about getting rid of the debt, and we made that decision right at the end to get rid of our brokerage account. But that's it. We didn't go into retirement savings, and I would never recommend that. But definitely when it comes to brokerage accounts or stocks or investments, it might be something that people want to consider, but it's really a peace of mind thing. And we never speculated appreciation on our stocks, and that's a reason why we didn't, because it would have sucked if Christmas time the stock market took a little dip and we weren't up with capital gains, we still had debt. Like, that wouldn't have sat well with us. It was more of a peace of mind for us to use that $15,000, take a loss on possible capital gains, get rid of the debt, and then work on building those investments back up.
Right. And we did also wait until after the baby was born because we wanted to make sure that he was okay, that I was okay. So, like, taking into account any kind of big life events that might be happening is also pretty important.
Yeah. That's how we got through it. We communicated.
A lot.
We budgeted.
A lot.
we took the good with the bad.
Yep.
And we just tried to, the message that I always try and portray, we always stayed positive even when it was crappy.
Even if it was just one of us at a time, maybe.
Yep. We work really hard. Tara's tutoring even now on maternity leave, side businesses, selling things on eBay. We did all the things that you hear that people should do. And yeah, we were
a team.
We were a really good team, and kind of leads into what's next for us now that we're debt free. We used to think that debt free was the finish line. It's
the starting line.
It's a start.
I'm like, we're so excited because there's just so many things you can do now. It's incredible. Like, before it was like you only had one option. Like, every month, whatever money you had was going to debt. Now it's like, what are we gonna do with it? Where's it gonna go?
We got paid yesterday, and all of that money was ours. And it's now the choices are limited. I think in general, and this is once again going to become a new form of communication for us.
Yeah, big time. Because like I said, there's so many options. We
have the options of growing our tax-deferred retirement accounts, our 403B, our 401k. We each have a 457 and a 403B. So we have 4 options there at $19,000 a piece. We have the option of our Roth IRA.
Yep.
But then there's other things. We definitely want to spend money on the current house we're living in, some upgrades now that we kind of been fighting through a subpar dishwasher, washing machine, oven that, we might start some sinking funds and try and fix. So some of our savings might go to that.
Kind of want to spend some money on our family because they've really taken care of us the last couple of years. Like, just love, like they watch the kids. Like, my father watches my son and was watching Avery for a while. So I kind of want to spoil them a little bit because now we can. Yeah,
we said no to a lot of things, a lot of vacations, a lot of weekends out. Like I said, we did a lot of the cliche things that you hear that you should be doing. And yeah, we definitely want to go back and pay it forward and start to reintroduce ourselves back, of course. But now we're conscious about our spending. Now we have a bunch of weddings. And I remember the thought of having 5 weddings in a year 2 years ago was monumentally stressful. But now we know that we can save money for it, and we know that we can consciously attack that with sinking funds, and it's going to be okay.
It's going to be fine. Not worried at all.
And two, like, advice for people, know that your life is going to change. Like, as I said in the beginning of the video, when we started to get debt-free, our priorities for getting debt-free were just to free up money for ourselves. And now we're seeing things with 2 kids 2 years later, like, we wouldn't be able to afford daycare for both of them.
Nope.
At the quality,
not at all.
At the quality daycare we have. And that's something we didn't sit down and say, hey, let's get on Dave Ramsey so in 2 years we'll have $2,600 to pay for daycare.
Right.
But that's just a simple example of how getting out of debt freed up money for our family now, and freed up money for things that we never thought that we'd ever consider. I mean, another thing that's next for us, we're really going to start to look into seriously considering real estate investing, you know, with some rentals and stuff. And 2 years ago, we never would have said, hey, let's pick up a couple rental properties.
No.
2 years
Out of options.
2 years ago, we were saying, how do we afford our mortgage payments right now? So I think I've said thank you a million times, and we could not have done this without like the accountability factor that goes into YouTube and social media. And it's
Thanks
been
for
awesome.
keeping him motivated, because he's either 0 or 100, and you guys have kept him at 100 for me. So I appreciate that.
And know that, like I said, Tara's not always here in front of the camera, but she is an active part of this journey as well. And she's an active part of the community. She helps me respond to comments and things. And if you ever have a female question for her, reach out on Instagram, Mama Fin Fitness. I tag her in all my Instagrams. You know, reach out to her, mom questions, frugal mom tips. Know that it's not just me here.
I'm here too.
It's Tara.
A
And
little more behind the scenes, but here I am.
do you want to do the outro? You watch my videos. Do you know the outro?
I'm going to mess it up now because you put me on the spot. I'm nervous.
Until we see you on the next one, guys.
Stay positive. Be happy.
That's positive.
Oh. Ooh, I know. Stay positive.
hold on, let's
wait.
start
I'm going to start over.
Let me start over. We have to do this again.
Extra.
And until we see you guys on the next one.
Stay positive. Work really, really hard. And always remember to be kind to others.
I hope you have yourself an amazing day, and even better tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Now I need to put him down, and we just need to, I'm going to cry.
Well, I'm going to cry too. You have stuff in your teeth. And then you can do the intro and the extra.
And then I'll just...
Is extra a thing? I did speed that up.
Extra. We'll get the extra done.
But, am I allowed to say shit?
You can say shit.
Okay. And figuring it out.
Was bring us more money. You're biting your lip. It's really not cute.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Yeah. Going.